morning, everyone. Welcome. I didn't even set up all the way. There we go. Needed my live chat to be on this side. Good morning. Happy Monday. It's been a week since we've been in school. I'm a little ashamed to only have had one video, but that's okay. I had a weird dream 2 nights ago that we were back at school and I didn't get a chance to finish my series. So I'm looking forward to finishing this before we go back to school. I don't know who's here. Hello, welcome. Welcome as you come. Today we're going to be talking about housing, how to get it, how to keep it, how all the things, how to find it. And I might share a story, I'm not sure yet, of my housing experiences. Currently I flipped all of my cameras because last time I tried to keep brushing the side of my hair because it was where I saw it on the screen. So I fixed it. So if you're confused why my map's over here instead of over here, it's because this is actually how it is. It's on my left side and now I can point at things without having to worry about it. So that feels really nice. I did not lock my cat out so he might join us because you guys asked. Also somebody asked me privately after Friday, where we talked about taxes, why you get, hey Alyssa, why you get thrown in jail for tax fraud, and it's because people will file their taxes incorrectly to get more money back, and that's we owe the government something, so a tax refund is just us getting money back. But I'm glad I'm not alone, Alyssa, and whoever else is there, welcome. Today we're talking about housing. So first, can I even go back on that? It's gonna just show the wrong thing, but that's okay. First, let's talk about making money, and let's not do that one first. There we go. So you make money, you make a certain amount. It's called your income. You might make money working at, hi Lauren. You might make money working at babysitting. You might make money working from home and doing cool arts and crafts. You might make money tutoring. You might make money, I know some kids who make money tutoring kids how to play music, which is amazing. I make money teaching you things. But when I was first starting out, I made money working at a craft store. And so here's an income. Here we go, you can see me too. Here's an income idea. In general, you want 1/3 of your income to go towards housing, which sounds like a little bit. A lot of people want to spend half or more on their home, but that makes you house poor. It means you can't do things, you can't buy a new car, you can't save money, nothing happens like that. So you really want only 1/3 of your income to go towards housing. So some of you already have an income, and that's monthly income. Let's talk about what that looks like. So here's an example of minimum wage. You don't work 40 hours a week because you're a student for most of that time, but maybe right now you are. Maybe you got a part-time job at the grocery store. So I think that's what your options are right now. But so up here I have 40 hours a week, pretty standard, 4 weeks in a month-ish, at $13.50 an hour, which is minimum wage in Washington State. So that's not including taxes, about $2,000 a month. With taxes, that's probably about $1,800 or $1,700 a month, which is totally fine. Let's break that into 3 parts. I'm going to ignore taxes. I'm going to pretend like you are making all this money babysitting or something. You're not paying taxes on it, which is illegal because you owe it still. But let's just say that you have $720 to spend on your house. The rest would go into things like bills, food. Please put money into savings, and I'll tell you why really soon. And then other things that you want to spend your money on. I am not a financial advisor. Do not quote me on any of this, but you do want, I just looked this up. This is as of this year, so it's $13.50 in 2020 in Washington State. I don't know. It might be $12.50. We could recalculate with $12.50, but I took a screenshot of this. I didn't type it in now, so we can recalculate with the $12.50, but Washington State, it should be $13.50. It might be $12.50 if you're under 16 or something like that, because I know that like child laws, we need to pay you, but we don't need to pay you as much. So I don't know. And this isn't including, this isn't including things like tips that you get from working at like Red Robin or something, because you would make a little less, but you'd take home a little more, especially if it's cash, because you don't need to claim this cash. Shh. Again, not a financial advisor. Don't quote me on anything. I'm just giving you a rough outline. So let's take our 720. I'm going to use, I won't be able to see myself, so you won't either. Haha. I'm going to use Zillow. Zillow is pretty good for finding rentals. I don't usually use it for buying houses, but if I wanted to get a good rental, I might use Zillow. So I've already, I already started kind of looking in. I need to clear everything. I've already started looking in Mount Vernon. So here are all my options in Mount Vernon. There's one down in Conway, a couple in Big Lake, good old central Mount Vernon, and there's one over here. I guess that would be considered Burlington, but they're counting at Mount Vernon. So here's my big old circle. Circle's a really rough word. Here's my big old outline boundary of Mount Vernon, what's considered Mount Vernon. So I don't have $2,000 a month to spend. I don't remember what I had. I think I had $720. So let's say I have $720 to spend on a house. That's my maximum. I have no options. Do you see this? So the thing is, though, I do have some that are a little bit further north. So I have this one. This is in Bellingham. You're going to find cheaper housing closer to a college because they have to, a lot of renters are near colleges. They're not going to buy because they're just going to school for 4 years or so. Now on the side here, it tells me all of the important information. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, near Western. There's a private balcony or washer and dryer in unit, and 1 garage space, which is huge. Now washer and dryer in unit is not going to be very common at the price that we're looking at. It's mostly going to be a shared washer and dryer, which means it's coin operated in some room somewhere, and we'll have to have that. Ever since I had 1 year where I didn't have a washer and dryer in unit, when I was an adult and had a cat and all that stuff, and luckily I was right above it so I could see where when they were being used, so I could go down and use them when they weren't being used. Now, water, sewer, and garbage is very commonly in the rental price. That means that your landlord will pay for the water use, they'll pay for the sewage to be pumped, and they'll pay for the garbage to be picked up. Landscaping's not as common. Like my apartment right now, I have to do all the lawn work. I have to mow the lawn. But this doesn't look like there's a lot of lawn anyways here, so it's fine. You're in charge of electric, so you have to pay your electric bill. So you have to kind of include that in the cost in your mind. No pets. And you can only live by yourself, 1 occupant per bedroom. So there's probably more. Oh, here we go. Now the things to remember is that when you are applying for a house, you have to pay them to check you out. You have to pay $45 here, $35 is pretty common. That's your rental application. That's whether or not you get the apartment. You have to pay the $45. Most of the time I see $35. That's for them to do a background check on you and make sure you're not a felon or a person that they don't really want living there. The other thing you have to remember is that you're going to need to pay the first month's rent, sometimes the last month's rent, and a deposit that's equal to a month's rent. So we'll talk about all of that as we go. But this has no pet, so I couldn't do it because I have a pet. There's also this little snapshot down here. So the deposit and fees is $1,095. So that's a little bit more than that's a lot more than 1 month's rent. But we'll talk about what they do with that at the end. You could also live here in Port Townsend. Looks pretty cute. Port Townsend is not north, it's down south a little bit more. I didn't even see that one when I was first looking for you. Or another one in Bellingham for $695. This is actually probably a pretty good one. So there's a shared common area, which means that you get a room and other people also get a room, and then you share the common area. So still no smoking, no pets. Don't get habits. The sad part about no pets is that people who live alone usually need a pet to I don't know, stay calm, stay sane. And so it's really sad when they're like, you have to live alone and you can't have a pet. Rude. I also like when people take pictures of themselves with mirrors involved, because like there's this guy right here. I don't know, this person right here who's trying to take a picture of their bathroom, and there's no space to stand without taking a picture of themselves in the mirror. Okay, so what if I don't want to live in Bellingham or Port Sounds, and what if I really actually want to live in Mount Vernon? Your options are to have a friend or two to share the things with. Maybe it's somebody that you go to college with. Maybe it's somebody that you went to school with, or you're going to school with now. Maybe it's somebody that you met online, and that's kind of sketchy. Don't do that. Or maybe it's somebody who you work with. It's like a couple of people. So let's say that you have two friends who they're doing pretty well. They're like engaged or pretty much engaged. They've been together forever, and they really want to share the cost with you. So let's say that you each are willing and able to put in like $600 a month, and you'll split all the rest of the stuff like bills and utilities and things. So let's say $1,800, and you need it to be at least 2 bedrooms because you're not sharing one bed with people. So here's my handful of options right here. Ooh, that's cute. There's a big problem with people making animals emotional support animals and then abusing systems, like going into restaurants with those animals and then they're not trained. So don't abuse the system, but yes, emotional support animals are legally mandated. So I guess I should make Rocket that. He's around here somewhere. So here's this little apartment. See all the little things on the bottom say Realty Property Management, and they have timestamps on all those. Those are to protect themselves. But these are the pictures they've taken. That's I like that green color. Still no pets allowed. So it's in a 4-plex, which means there's 4 total apartments, but they're all separate. So there's different entrances, different, all the other things. So that's all they tell me in here. Rude. And then this one has a $1,500 deposit, which is about the same as the rent. So that's usually what it is. So the deposit covers the landlord. So what the deposit is you have saved up some money and you give the landlord a deposit. What the deposit says is, if I back out early, you can use this for a month's rent to cover the fact that I backed out early. And if I made any messes, you can use it to pay for some of the messes. So most of the time what they'll do is you'll do what's called a walkthrough when you first rent a place, where you and your landlord fill out a paper. A lot of landlords hate filling out this paper, so what they'll do is they'll pre-fill it out and send it to you, and then you just check off that it's good. Don't skip this part. This paperwork, I want you to see my face too, so you can get the severity of what I'm telling you. There we go. This paperwork is super important because it covers your butt too. If there's an electric outlet that has wires sticking out, you want to mark that on the paper so that way later when they say, hey, you messed with my electric outlet and now some stuff is sticking out, you can say, no, it was like that the whole time. And then you have a legally binding document that says that it wasn't you. I had a landlord one time. This is story time. I had a landlord once who tried charging me more than my deposit, and she claimed it was things like having a second pet because I had black cat hair left behind. You don't know this, but Rocket has black and brown hair. It's totally plausible that it was his. I had smoked on the property, which I don't smoke at all. There's some smoking stuff like underneath the porch, but it was there the entire time. And a bunch of other stuff, like not mowing the lawn, which was BS. And so I had to take her to court because I needed that money back so I could rent the next place. Because what usually happens is you have a certain amount that you've deposited to the landlord. Within a month they give it back, or they tell you the reasons why you don't get it all back and give you some of it back. It's a deposit. It's not a keep it forever. And then and then you can dispute or whatever if you need to. That's called small claims court. So that's not fun. It takes forever. I did end up getting half my money back because I hadn't vacuumed very well, stuff like that. And so the guy was like, well, this and this and this is BS, but here's the other stuff. So, you know, it worked. So that's what your deposit is. There's sometimes the first month's rent to start, the last month's rent, so that way you don't have to pay it at the end, and the deposit. So you really do need to start saving money now if you can. Whatever you pay for, it depends on why you're working right now. If you're working for the experience, I would save almost all of it. I would have some fun money, but I would certainly save some. You basically want the amount that you make in a month to be in savings, because if you're a third of your income is your house, then first month, last month, and your deposit is about the same as 1 month of what you make. I'm not saying save 1 month's rent or save 1 month's income and then just call it good. I would save it over time, and then just keep saving. Like, I put $500 in the bank every month for a savings account, just in case, which is going to help, I think, depending on how this all shakes out in this. I'm able to support people who don't have a job right now, and that feels really good to me, because I can help them survive. I can help my favorite businesses survive, which is pretty cool. But I digress. So here's back to Zillow. Wait, let me go full. There we go. Here's back to Zillow. So there are certain things that you might decide is a non-negotiable. For me, I have to be able to have a pet, because I'm not going to leave my pet behind. And I really want washer and dryer and unit, but that'll usually cost a little bit more. I don't know what this one means. Contact manager about that washer and dryer, but it is an option. There's other places in Mount Vernon, so you can live. You and your buddies who are married or whatever can totally live around here. Make sure you like them though, because you're gonna spend a lot of time together, and you might as well enjoy them. This is so pretty. Near Skagit Valley College. Because I'm also looking for a place to live, because my apartment's too dark. So this is kind of cute. This allows me to have cats. Oh, it's shared laundry though. See, that's why it hasn't popped up on my recent searches, because that's a non-negotiable for me, but it's a pretty good price. Okay, so those are my options for things. Yes, you may go to the bathroom, Donovan. Do you want me to wait for you to get back? You can just rewind it, it's fine. You can't rewind it until it posts, but you can like miss and catch the parts you missed. Okay, so that is renting. Let me just keep in mind though, I want to tell you that so with these 3 people that we live with, or these other 2 people, you're good, okay. So I lived in college, I split an apartment with my roommate. I got the master bedroom, which meant I paid a little bit more for it, which was totally fair. And then she and I split everything else. So she paid the power, I paid Comcast for internet and stuff. And then if it was uneven at some point, then we would talk about it and say, hey, I don't like that I'm paying more for Comcast than you're paying for the power. Can we talk about this? Can you help me out a little bit? Also, I loved baking and she loved cooking. So we split the kitchen that way, basically. When we had different levels of the fridge that existed. So talk about how you're going to live with somebody else if you are. If you can't afford it on your own and you're going to have to live with somebody else for a while, just make sure that you are communicating about what you need and what looks good and what feels good for you. The landlords usually pay for water, sewer, and garbage. You pay power and internet and everything else that you need. You guys can split your like Hulu and Netflix or whatever too. But let's talk about buying a house. So when you buy a house, you're going to talk to a lender who is somebody who knows all of the things that I don't know about giving you money to buy a house. Oh my gosh, Alyssa, that sounds good. I've never had Italian wedding soup, I don't think. It's like a beautiful mixture of food, but I don't know what it all is. What did I make yesterday? I made like fajita stuff, and I'm gonna make a taco pizza with the leftovers today. It's gonna be great. Okay, anyways, I digress. Don't distract me. Maybe Alyssa, you can post a comment on our Google Classroom with like directions or something, so people can can try it if they want to, because this is a great time to learn something new, just like Corvid courses. Okay, so you talk to a realtor. Realtor and real estate agents are apparently different, and the only reason I know that's my aunt is a realtor, and she's very proud of being a realtor and not a real estate agent. Basically, realtors go to more classes or something. It's like the same. And so they direct you to a lender that they like. Now, the lender tells you, based on your credit score, which we're going to talk about sometime this week, I think, because it keeps coming up, and I think that we're going to need to talk about it either Wednesday or Friday. Probably Friday. Credit score Friday. They, based on your credit score, will tell you how much money they're willing to lend you and at what rate you need to pay it back. It's called a mortgage. You might have your parents talking about a mortgage. It's basically rent. It's the same thing as rent. It's just to a bank instead of to a person a landlord. The other thing to think about when you're buying a house is that nobody's going to pay the water, sewer, and garbage for you anymore. That's up to you. So is any HOA fees, which I'll talk about too, and anything that needs to get fixed. When you're renting a place and you have a mold problem, you call your landlord and they fix it. When your washer and dryer is broken, you call your landlord and they fix it. And they have to fix it within a certain amount of time. Washington's really great because they lean towards the renter and not towards the landlord, which is pretty cool. So you have a certain amount of time that the landlord has to fix it, and if they don't fix it, you pay to fix it, and then you take it out of their rent. You don't pay them that much. These are all things that I am not a legal advisor. Don't quote me on anything. That's just what I've come to understand. If you need a lawyer, find one. So you're in charge of all the extra bills and all the fixing things. So when we're looking for a place to live, we have to keep in mind that it's not the same thing as just paying the rent, because the rent involves all that other stuff. So Zillow's super good for rentals. I usually use Redfin for buying things. So let's say I want to find a home in Mount Vernon. Beautiful. Washington, not New York. It's cookie dough, but there's like no egg in it because egg has salmonella and stuff. We'll have a bake off too. Why not that? So there's really good recipes for edible cookie dough and all that other stuff. I just make cookies and then eat the cookie dough because I figure it's a little bit of salmonella. Might as well risk it. That's such a bad way to live, though. Okay, look at all these houses. There's so many options here. And there are even some that are outside my boundary of what they consider Mount Vernon. Notice that's a different boundary from what Zillow considered Mount Vernon. That's an interesting aside that I didn't know. So here's a lot. I don't want this much. I can't afford that much. There's no way. Let's just do it for me. So I am looking right around $225. So I might just do $250 just in case there's something that I can rent or that I can buy. That's a little bit, I don't know. I can like talk them down a little bit. So what Redfin does is they will tell you with a 30-year fixed mortgage, which means you're paying it for 30 years, and 3.892 interest, then you would be paying $1,176 per month, which if I'm still minimum wage, that's way above, but I'm not minimum wage anymore, so I've been working for a while, so that's pretty nice. It also includes the interest, principal, property taxes in this specific house, and homeowners insurance, which is a pretty important thing to get. Oh, you should get renter's insurance too, by the way, just in case. It just helps. So here's the thing though. What if I only have like 3% down? That's about right. And what if my interest rate is actually a little lower because it's a really weird time right now? And they're like, yeah, we'll totally help you out. How do I fix my interest? Customize, there we go. I have 3.64 right now. Where did it go? What happened? Okay, that's fine. It doesn't want to cooperate right now, but it's okay. I don't care. Then it's gonna be a little bit more because I have way less to put down. So once again, You really want to be saving your money. Donovan asked if the longer that you work at a place, the more they increase your pay. Most of the time. Some places there's like a cap, there's a maximum. You want to see my face while I'm doing this. Okay. Sometimes there's like a cap, like a maximum. And like a lot of times in, like, let's say retail, if you just work the same retail job and you don't go up in management or anything like that, you're not going to be making any more after like a year or two maybe. But a lot of places, when you're super good at what you do, they bump you up. They give you more responsibility. More responsibility comes with more pay. So if you work a retail job and then you level up to like assistant manager, yeah, you'll make a little bit more. And then you get manager and you get a little bit more than that. A lot of times though, things like retail and food service are so important for all of us, as we can absolutely tell right now. But there's very few managers and a lot of people that work on the floor. So you want to make sure that you are the best at what you do, so that way they pay you more. I will have a cap. If I don't go back to school for my master's degree, my cap is at a certain level after, I think it's 15 years of working. I have to look it up. There's a whole scale for me. And then if I were to go get my master's, I could have a little bit more for a little bit longer. So they would keep leveling me up. But there are some people that say they're maxed out, and that means that they are making as much as they can make in the business that they're in. So if they want to make more, they'll have to go somewhere else and do something else. One of my English teacher friends, not from Mount Vernon, we used to joke that she was at the top of her field and I was at the bottom of mine. And that means that she can't make any more being an English teacher. She can't make any more than being an English teacher if she has an English degree. And I can make a lot more if I wasn't a math teacher with a math degree. I'm doing what I love. I enjoy teaching you guys. And I love doing crafty things on the side to keep myself entertained with the crafty version of what I do. So it depends. That was a really long answer for a really short question. Sorry. Let's talk about HOA fees. Let's find a house that has HOA fees. Also, you can see here that there's a lot of just land. That's actually pretty expensive for thinking about that I also have to be able to build on it. But there are loans for that. There are loans for people who build onto things. HOA, where are you? Okay, right, I'm way too low for things with HOAs. Let's bump it up. Bump it up. You look like an HOA kind of house. Hey, look at that. So this is an HOA due. It means homeowners association, and it's $50 a month. So whatever you pay for your mortgage, you'll add $50 to for the HOA. What the HOA does is, me too, Alyssa. I was going to get on a rant about that in a little bit. What the HOA does is they make sure everybody's houses are about the same. They get mad at you if you don't mow your lawn. If you paint your color, if you want to paint your house, they have like a certain colors that they allow you to paint your house, so that way you're not like the weird bright lime green house in the neighborhood. And it's a bunch of, I'm gonna stereotype a little bit. They're a bunch of like stay-at-home moms that don't have any life, who are just like, I just want to control everything, and I'm super OCD about my life. So they're like, you owe us this much. Sometimes I found a lot of houses that I was like, oh my gosh, I can afford this. And then the HOA was $250 a month, which makes it so I can't afford it anymore because it was right at like kind of the bottom of what I can pay. So when I'm looking at things with an HOA involved, first of all, I usually don't. And second of all, if they are involved, then I try to not, I try to make sure that it's cheap enough that I can actually afford it on top of the other stuff that I have. So this HOA probably has some sort of monthly get-together or something, but because all the lawns are pretty spread apart, I doubt that they do any landscaping. There are HOAs that do landscaping, if it's like a condo. My understanding is that a condo is like an apartment building that you can own, and apartments are things that you rent, but they're all attached. And then a duplex is two houses together. Man, there's a lot out here. Duplexes are two houses that are attached together. and they have a shared wall. But usually those walls are like the kitchen or something, so that way you can still sleep without hearing their child running around. Alyssa, do you have different opinions about the HOA than I do? I'm glad that all three of my Alyssas have different spellings of their names, so I know who you are. Because apparently you're the 27th one. I don't see any HOAs in a complex right now. But usually what they do is they do like the trimming and stuff. There's one that just sold in Mount Vernon. They'll do the landscaping too, so that's a little bit more. It's like $250 because they pay for the landscaper and all the other stuff. Yeah, no. I mean, most of these probably have HOAs. That one doesn't. Neat. I still can't afford it. Oh, it's ready to build. I can make my own HOA and ruin everybody else's life. So that's renting, or that's owning. So once you find a house that you like, you can go visit it, either using your realtor, because realtors get all the PIN numbers for the houses, so they can unlock it. And then hold on, Oh, it's my face, anyways. So you can walk through, or there's things called open houses, which you don't need your realtor for. And then once you like a house, and I don't know this part because I haven't gotten this far yet, but once you like a house, you tell your realtor, you do a bidding thing if anybody else is also interested. And then if you get the house, you sign for it and it's yours within like 45 days or something like that. So it takes a little bit to move in. And the reason it takes a little bit to move in is so that way that person can find a new house to live in now that you have theirs. And all the other legal stuff that happens in the background. And then I was going to say something about the thing about the cheap houses, which I'm finding out the hard way, is that if there's very few of them, people who have cash to spend on the house get it so much faster because there's no bank involved. And I'm not the kind of person that has just cash laying around that I can use to buy crazy large house. So those people who do fixing up and stuff like that are taking all my houses away. Stop it. Because I can't win a bidding war when my budget is the house price. I can't do it because I can't go up any higher if I only want to spend like $1,300 a month on everything, including the whatever HOA fees exist and all the other stuff. So that's about a $200,000 house with my current down payment. So it happens. I might be renting for a little bit longer while I save up some more money, and that's okay. Just as long as I find a place that's not this one because it's super dark. I only have two windows, and one faces a hill and one faces a building, so I get zero light. All the light right now is from this lamp right here and this lamp right here, so that way it's not so dark. Okay, so what did we cover? Third of your income should be your house, no more. Don't go poor trying to afford something. Save up money so that way you can pay your deposit, because you need your deposit first month, last month, and like a $45 fee just to apply for an apartment. If you split the bill with 3 people, just communicate about what you want. If you buy a house, save up your money so that way you can pay a high down payment and closing costs. Closing costs are the things that I don't actually know, but closing costs are the things that like you talk about with the person who's selling their house and say, hey, can you pay for this? I don't want to. That's what your realtor does, because I'm not good at that kind of stuff. HOAs suck. And don't forget that you might have to pay for fixing the house up, so budget that as part of your thing. Make sure you're saving money all the time. Next time, I don't know. You guys help me out here. I want to cover buying a car or renting a car, but mostly buying a car. And I also want to cover credit, like building credit, getting credit. So we're going to do those 2 things this week. I'm kind of leaning more towards doing credit on Friday, but I might want to do credit before buying a car, because you need credit to buy a car, you need credit to buy a house, so we can do that. It's like weirdly raining outside, but that doesn't answer my question. So, what do you want to learn first? Buying a car, or getting credit, building credit, what credit is. I'm ready. Not credit cards, it's different. Also, I missed you guys. I said this in the beginning, but I had like a nightmare that, and I like bit my lip because I was having a nightmare, that we were back in school, which isn't the nightmare part. The nightmare part was that I didn't get to finish the series, and you were all so sad that I didn't get to finish teaching you all the things that are important to you. I only did the one. And so I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Donovan votes car. That's one vote in. And like at least 4 of you are here. Credit, okay, 1 to 1. I don't know if I can do both at once, but maybe I'll try. Okay, 3 cars, 1 credit. Alyssa. Oh, hi. Alyssa, we'll do credit on Friday. We're going to talk about cars, not tomorrow, next time on Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Hey, if we, oh, now we're getting some credit voters in. I'll let it roll for a little bit. Can we, I might start doing like a office hours Google Hangout kind of thing just to try it out. It sounds like what we're trying to do is get everybody at home the ability to learn from home, and then set up some sort of system so that way you have, like, every teacher has an office hour, and they have like 1 day a week where they post all the homework and stuff and the lessons. So it looks like we're starting to do that, but we will see. There's a lot of information, but you should, if you go onto your advisory page, you should see a link to a Google form. We need everybody to fill that out, because what's going to happen is those who don't get that filled out are going to get a phone call to talk. I don't want to call home, you guys. Any of my freshmen who are in advisory who don't fill it out, I have to call home and fill it out for them, because what we're looking for is if you have internet access at home and if you have time at home and what you need from us in order to do things like that. Hi, Emily. So please fill that form out. We really need it to happen. And I think, I think that cars won. So we'll do cars Wednesday, credit Friday. And I want you to start saving money, please. So whatever, not now, because it's a weird time. Actually, probably right now too. But if you're making money right now for some reason, I would save it. At your age, I would probably save about half my whatever I make in a savings account. Or you could do, I know, Donovan, that was my question. Hold on. Or you could do a fourth, 25% of your income, just half and then half again. Donovan, that's the point of us calling home if we don't get one back, because what we're assuming, no, some people don't have data access either if they don't have Wi-Fi. Chill, Corbin, we don't call each other dumb. So if you don't have internet, so what we're assuming is that everybody who has internet will fill it out, and then those who don't have internet, that's when we're going to call home. But binomials are numbers with 2 terms. We didn't even cover that. What are you talking about? We did polynomials. Binomials are a special type of polynomial. It's 2 gnomes sitting outside. They're hanging out, Romeo and Juliet, but 6 feet apart because social distancing. So what I'm learning is that you all want to learn how to cook, or make cookie dough, raw cookie dough safely. Look it up. There's the Google for you. If you're here, you have internet access, so you must have options for Google. Okay. Yeah, probably a good idea. Oh, are you doing math work? I didn't give you any math work yet. Yeah, binomials are 2 terms, so like x squared plus 2, that's a binomial. Corbin, email me or do a remind chat. We'll keep it out of the YouTube, but I'll help you out. Because coronavirus. You guys, this is a weird world. I think we're good. I'm gonna see you on Wednesday, same time. This was about a half an hour-ish total. I know your mom's a stickler, it's fine. Just text me. It's right here. I got you. I might try Google Hangout just to see what's happening. So check the Google Classroom. All of them? One of them? I don't know yet. And we'll just see what happens. We're gonna give it a shot. That way I can see your faces too. Hey. And you know what I kind of want? I'm gonna not assign homework because I can't. But why don't you try to, with your current monthly income, see what you can rent, and then start saving money. Okay. I made a silly joke. So corvids are crows and ravens, and blue jays, and they collect shiny things. So let's collect knowledge like crows collect shiny things. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday.